Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue building decks around the new legendary creatures from Tarkir Dragonstorm. I know that since we're back on Tarkir, everyone is excited about the new wedge creatures, but I've already done videos on all of them. So I figured I'd finish up making some videos on some of the new monocolored legends. Leading today's deck is none other than Sidisi, Regent of the Mire. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Sidisi, Regent of the Mire is a 2-mana 1/3 legendary zombie snake warlock. We may tap her to sacrifice a creature we control with mana value X other than Sidisi. If we do, we return target creature card with mana value X plus 1 from our graveyard to the battlefield. Now, we may only activate this as a sorcery. Obviously, I wanted to have Thornbite Staff in this deck because it would be ridiculous, assuming our graveyard's big enough. We could have a lot of fun with this combo. However, I wanted to make this a budget deck, and Thornbite Staff is $20. I felt it deserved a mention though. But I did want this deck to be more of a birthing pod / reanimation style deck, so I was careful when picking creatures to ensure they had a good balance when it came to mana value. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is made famous by their boulders, solid, reliable, and affordable deck boxes. Boulders are now available in solid colors, like this beautiful white one seen here. Find out if your local game store carries the new Ultimate Guard solid color boulders, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 14 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming with my son over on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. Our land base consists of Crypt of Agadim, War Room, Bajuka Bog, Myriad Landscape, and 30 swamps. Pretty basic, I know. But that's the nice part about a monocolored deck. You don't need it to be complicated. For mana ramp, we're running Solemn Simulacrum, Pitiless Plunderer, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Mindstone, Felwar Stone, Thought Vessel, Wayfarer's Bauble, Worn Power Stone, Thrawn Dynamo, Gilded Lotus, Jet Medallion, and Priest of Gix. Some mana rocks, which is appropriate for a monocolored deck, but also some creatures that we can sacrifice and then bring back for value. Our card advantage package consists of Fairy Dream Thief, Dusk Legion Zealot, Liliana's Standard Bearer, Midnight Reaper, Grim Haruspex, Massacre Girl Known Killer, Gixian Puppeteer, Corpse Augur, Buried Alive, Violin Tumor, Golgari Thug, Phyrexian Delver, and Village Rites. Now, normally I wouldn't consider a card like Dusk Legion Zealot to be card advantage. All he does is replace himself, which isn't a bad thing, but we must recognize that cantrips are not card advantage, except in situations like this deck where we can sacrifice and reanimate him over and over again. Drawing 1 card from Dusk Legion Zealot isn't that impressive. Drawing 5 cards? That's where it gets fun. For interaction, we've got Plaguecrafter, Meteor Golem, Ravenous Chupacabra, Noxious Gearhulk, Accursed Marauder, Fleshbag Marauder, Bogart Trawler, Demon's Disciple, Cavalier of Night, Flare of Malice, Imp's Mischief, Hero's Downfall, Deuthi Voidwalker, and Feed the Swarm. Lots of ways to keep our opponents in line, and since most of our interaction are creatures, we can do it again and again. Our board wipes consist of Massacre Worm and Toxic Deluge. Simple but effective. The core of our deck consists of Stitcher's Supplier, Clay Revenant, Dread Wanderer, Cult Conscript, and Gnawing Vermin for our 1-mana value creatures, Bloodghast, Burglar Rat, Bloodseeker, Nozomi Informant, and Elderfang Disciple for additional 2-mana value creatures, 9 Lives Familiar, Liliana Heretic Healer, and Hakan Stromgald Scourge for more 3-mana value creatures, Mind Slicer, Nightmare Shepherd, and Vindictive Lich for 4-mana value creatures. Finally, Doom Whisperer, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, Junji the Midnight Sky, and Sir Conrad the Grim making up the rest of our 5-mana value creatures. Supporting our plan, we've also got Panharmonicon for obvious reasons, and Mage Right Stone so we can activate our commander more than once a turn. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 49 mana sources split between 34 lands, 14 pieces of ramp, and 1 MDFC. Not too shabby. 13 pieces of card advantage. 14 pieces of interaction. 2 board wipes. 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Deuthi Voidwalker and Bojuka Bog. 1 sudden I win card in Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Our deck isn't too complicated, but we do get wrecked by graveyard hate. In fact, decks like this are the reason you want to run Graveyard Hate. However, you can get around that by just playing this deck normally. You can just cast creatures and beat your opponents to death. Have patience, cast Fleshbag Marauder with a Panharmonicon on board, then beat everyone down. Or just cast Grey Merchant of Asphodel and win the game on the spot. As I said earlier, Thornbite Staff would be amazing in this deck. So long as we have a chain of creatures with sequential mana values, we pull off some very silly shenanigans. If you're thinking of picking up this deck and budget isn't an issue, be sure to include it in your list. Are you building Sidisi Regent of the Mire? Or do you already have a pod-style deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Borgi, Naswin, Conga, Chris, Robert, William, Pye, Kazaris, Booksu, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard, Sint, Om, Boomy, Jackie Finn, Zen, Osira, Justin, Christian, and Golden Walker. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.